Good morning. Today we are going to take on the chapter which is known as chemical coordination, and we also refer it as an endocrine system. Now, what do we mean by the term endocrine system? Endocrine, the word endocrine means hidden, right? That means these organs pour some secretion in the blood which works at a position which is far away from its place of release. The word hormone, for the first time, it was encoded by the scientist. His name is Starling. Bayliss and Starling, they worked on the hormone known as secretin, which is released by the digestive system. Before we move on to this chapter, let's know what are the different kinds of coordination possible in the human system. The different kinds of coordination that is possible are the neural and the chemical. Neural coordination is brought about with the help of the nerve cells. We call them as neurons. It is very fast. As you must be knowing, the moment we touch something very hot, we withdraw our hands. But at the same time, it is short-lived. The synapses, that is the junction between the adjacent axons and dendrons, they are known as the synapses, and it is through these synapses that the information in the form of electrical impulses pass from one nerve cell to the other. Whereas in case of the endocrine system, which we term as the chemical coordination, it is with the help of certain chemical messengers. Chemical messengers which we call as hormones. The word hormone is a Greek word which means to arouse the activity. These are much slower than the neural impulses and they are long-lived. For example, if you see, the moment we touch something hot, we withdraw our hands. But when we see beard growing in men, it starts during the onset of puberty and it goes on till the person lives. So this is the difference between the neural and the chemical coordination. Now, the chemical coordination is brought about by some special messengers which are known as the hormones. They are secreted by some special glands which are known as the endocrine glands. Endocrine glands. Now, what is the difference between the endocrine and exocrine glands? We have two types of glands in our body. One is known as the endocrine glands, other is known as the exocrine glands. The exocrine glands are the ducted glands, whereas the endocrine glands, they are the ductless glands. They are ductless. Therefore, they release their secretions right into the bloodstream. The endocrine glands, being ductless, release their secretion directly into the bloodstream, which is being carried to the blood to distant organs. Endocrine glands, they produce the secretions which are termed as hormones, which are chemical messengers. They are either protein in nature or they can be steroids. The exocrine glands, on the other hand, they are the ducted glands and they pour their secretion through the ducts which may or may not carry the enzymes, which are enzymes are the chemicals which are being secreted by the exocrine glands. So these ducts carry enzymes maybe to far off places or may not be. So this is one of the differences between the endocrine and the exocrine glands. Now in our chapter we are going to learn about the different endocrine glands, which are the hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, adrenal, pancreas, the reproductive organs, and we have the pineal, thymus glands, and the gastrointestinal hormones, which are released by the digestive system. Now let's study about the chemical nature and the physical nature of the hormones. The most important thing that we want to tell is the hormones, they are chemicals as we know, right? They are either secreted by endocrine gland or isolated gland cells. The typical properties of hormone as follows. They are transported through the blood, right into the blood. Therefore, the glands which release them, they are known as the endocrine glands. Effect is different from the site of its production, right? So, they actually affect organs which are far off from their site of production, and such organs we call them as the target organs. Target organs, right? And it fits precisely into the receptor molecule. Now we have two types of receptor molecules, right? One is the intracellular, while the other is the receptor present on the membrane surface. So we have two types of receptors present. One is present right inside the cell, intracellular, whereas the other is present on the membrane surface. These are very small organic molecules, either made of proteins or amino acids, amino acid derivatives, or peptides, which can be long or short, or lipoproteins, right? So these are small organic compounds. They are basically made up of proteins. If proteins, they come under the following categories, like the amino acid derivatives or peptides or lipoproteins. Otherwise, they belong to the class of steroids. They belong to the class of steroids. They are effective in low concentration. That means only a very small amount is needed to get the desired result. They are non-nutrient chemicals. They are non-nutrient chemicals, right? And do not participate in the metabolic activities of the target cells. They do not participate in the metabolic activities of the target cells, right? So these are the properties of a typical hormone. Now when we talk about the mammalian endocrine system, we have the various hormones which we have already named, and now we are going to learn about the different types of hormones that are present in the mammalian endocrine system, right? Now the first one, as we are going to classify them as the protein hormones. They will be either proteins, or they will be amino acid derivatives, or they will be short peptides or long peptides or glycoproteins, right? And we also have the steroid hormones. So we are going to classify them. Number one is proteins. Of the first one, we are going to name it as amino acid derivatives. That means the hormones which are derivatives of amino acids. Amino acid derivative hormones. Right? Amino acid derivatives. In this class, we are going to get 3 hormones which we are going to learn about later. One is the thyroxine, other being adrenaline and noradrenaline. They have another name also, epinephrine or non-epinephrine. They are released by the adrenal medulla. Thyroxine, as we know, it is definitely released from the thyroid gland, and the other 2 hormones, that is epinephrine or norepinephrine, they are also known as adrenaline or noradrenaline. They are released from the adrenal. Right? So these are the amino acid derivatives. The next one is the short peptides. Short peptides. Okay, they are the hormones known as vasopressin and oxytocin, right, and MSH. The third is the long peptides, right. They are the parathyroid hormone, also insulin, thyrocalcitonin, and ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. So these are the 3 categories, and the 4th category is the lipoproteins. We have the TSH, we have the FSH, that is the follicle stimulating hormone, and the LH. So overall, of the protein hormones, that is the hormones which are protein in nature, we have classified them under the amino acid derivatives, in which we see the hormones are thyroxine, which is being released or secreted by the thyroid gland, epinephrine or norepinephrine, they have another name, that is adrenaline or noradrenaline, being released from the adrenal medulla. Then we have the short peptides, which are the vasopressin and oxytocin, being released from the pituitary, posterior pituitary, and the MSH, that is all these are the short peptides. Is this clear? Then we have the long peptides, which are also protein in nature. We have the parathyroid hormone, we have the insulin, we have thyrocalcitonin and ACTH, that is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Then we have the lipoproteins, that is TSH, FSH and LH. The next class of hormones that we have are the steroid hormones. Right? We have the different catecholamines. Catecholamines, that is, we have the mineralocorticoids, the glucocorticoids, which are being released by the adrenal cortex, and we have testosterone, estrogen and progesterone. So catecholamines, they are basically the hormones which are being released by the adrenal cortex, that is mineralocorticoids, the glucocorticoids, and we have the hormones which are being released by the gonads, that is the testes and the ovaries, that is testosterone, we have the testosterone, we have the estrogen and the progesterone. These are the hormones which are being released by the gonads. Is this clear to everyone? Right. Right? Testosterone, estrogen and progesterone. So these are the hormones and their nature and their classification we have learnt about. Now we are going to move on to the first mammalian endocrine hormone secreting gland, that is the hypothalamo-pituitary axis. Rather, we would like to call it as the hypothalamus. We are going to talk about the hypothalamus and we are also going to talk about the pituitary. Before we go into that,